Hi. Hi, still talking about doulas here. The subject never ends. Okay, another reason you need to hire a doula. Um, well, it's pretty obvious, but when you're in there, when you're in the hospital, the nurses have other things to do besides hold your hand and help you through your contractions, usually. Not always, but sometimes they can't be in the room with you. Also, when you go into labor, say you go into labor at home, and you wake up in the middle of the night and you're having contractions and you're not really sure if you need to go to the hospital, but you might need to, and you're kind of thinking, oh, but this hurts, but does this hurt enough? Oh, it's like they're close together, these contractions, but they're not staying close together. I'm not sure. Well, guess what? You can call your doula and ask her, what do you think? And most times doulas are trained to listen to you. Just the mere sound of how you're talking, how you're breathing, they can tell whether or not they need to come over. And that's the other thing that's a benefit. Doulas come to your home. Doctor doesn't come to your home, neither does your midwife. Unless you have a home birth midwife, a certified professional midwife, they come to your home, obviously. But if you're going to the hospital, your doula will come to you and help you through contractions, help your husband know how to best help you through contractions, know when it's time to go to the hospital, and can ultimately cut your labor down. Because sometimes women go to the hospital too soon. Not always, but a lot of times they do. And they end up having a longer labor because they go so early. And they can even get to a point where their labor stops at the hospital because, well, maybe their labor wasn't going as well as they thought. And believe it or not, a change in climate or a change in atmosphere can stop your labor. And if you have any fear, if you're afraid of anything, when you get there, anybody is even slightly upsetting to you in any way, it can just halt your labor. So it's best to have the doula come to you and get you really going in your labor before you head on to the hospital and get hooked up to monitors or whatever you're doing, intermittent Doppler or but as always, you follow your instincts. If your body's saying go to the hospital, you go. But also, another benefit to having a doula is that your doula is trained. So, if your husband looks like a deer in headlights and is staring at you because no one likes to see their loved one in pain, your doula can calm him down or can tell him, you know what, yes, there is something going on here. But the other thing I wanted to mention is a doula is not a medical person. She is trained in labor and she's trained in, the things that you need to get through. So she can suggest position changes during labor. Say, I don't know, she can just tell. She can tell if you need to do a different position. She can suggest that you get up and walk. She can suggest that you need to get into water to help you, your contractions go along. She can tell you when to get into water, because if you get into water too soon, sometimes that can stop your labor too. And your doula knows these little tricks. She's been through it, whereas you have not. So if you do hire a doula, she can be your expert. It's like when you hire a wedding planner. I mean, not everyone hires them, but I've heard if you do, your wedding planning can go a lot quicker and a lot smoother. Even a friend can act as a wedding planner, but they don't know all the tricks. Just like a doula knows more tricks than your best friend or your husband or somebody that you've invited to your birth that you think is going to help you, but they're probably just going to sit there and stare at you. No offense. Generally, that's what happens, especially someone that's not trained to handle the situations. Like when you're yelling and screaming, crying, who knows what you're going to do in labor, your doula can calm you down, get you to breathe, get you to make tones with your voice instead of and like for simple things, I learned that if you make your jaw loose and you make your mouth into the shape of an O, like that, versus going tensing up, that can help your cervix to dilate quicker. Hey, and the quicker the better. Dang. And getting on hands and knees or squatting can help put pressure where the baby needs to get your cervix to dilate. Let me tell you, a doula is invaluable. And if you're worried about the cost, most doulas have payment options. And you can make your payments throughout your pregnancy. And, hey, that's awesome, because then you can just pay it a little bit at a time. I know that even some doulas barter. So if you have some kind of a special talent, you can barter with them. Trying to think, doulas, they cut down on C-sections big time. I'm not sure of the statistics off the top, but I heard one time that they can cut the rate of cesareans down by 50% because they're there helping you get through the labor and being your advocate for you. And if you write a birth plan, they can help the staff to remember what's in the birth plan because let's face it, do you really think the staff is going to remember every little thing in your birth plan? No, but the doula probably will at least know your basic, most important wishes, such as she doesn't want to be offered, this or that, or she wants to birth in this position if possible, or she wants to use water during her birth. She wants to wait for the cord to be clamped 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, and that's important to you, So, in closing, I just want to say, if you're unsure or you want more information, simply look up the word doula online, Doula. I know there are organizations out there, I think DONA is one, that you can find more information to find out where there are doulas near you. And it's a really good thing to try word of mouth because sometimes word of mouth is the best. And I just say hire a doula because, hey, you never know what's going to happen on that day, and you never know how you're going to feel while you're in labor. And having a friend who is an expert in the field of labor and birth is invaluable when that day comes. And I'm telling you now, you will not regret hiring a doula and having them be with you and help your husband and help your beautiful baby come into the world. I can guarantee it. So, best wishes and have a happy birth, and I sure hope you hire a doula. And if you do, comment and tell me how it went because I would love to hear success stories with doulas, and we need to get doulas out there because they rock. All right, take care. Bye.